gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. What we have here is a premium Chinesium grade A 10-ton Portopower ram. What for replacing those super expensive Skookum Enerpac cylinders would cost you an arm and a dick. Oh, the proprietary the receiving end of the pokey bit receptacle is too small for the Enerpac ones. So you'd have to change that out. This must be part of another kit that you can buy, probably has the hand pump and stuff. I didn't buy all that because I already have the foot pump. Looks to be 1/4 inch NPT. Got some Teflon tape on there. You ever wonder why you can't use oxygen on, or rather you can't use grease on oxygen fittings on the bottles, but there's always Teflon tape on there? I'll tell you why, because it's essentially inert. It's actually, you know, you see Teflon on a frying pan and you hear all this horrible stuff about it off-gases, all these terrible chemicals. Well, first off, you got to get it up to like 500 degrees science. That's pretty fucking. And all it is fluorine and carbon. Like if you look at the molecule, it's very simple. It's just fluorine and carbon. There's no weird clusterfuck of disgusting stuff going on. But that's the reason, anyway, you can use Teflon tape on oxygen cylinders because it won't burn. The fluorine has grabbed the chlorine or the carbon so hard that oxygen cannot get in there and burn it. It dissociates, but it won't burn. The more you know. And this is a one-way check valve. In Knipex we trust. Here it is. Here it is. Oh, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Now this is a one-way check valve, so we got to take that out in order to get this A part because we won't be able to pull it out because it'll create a vacuum. So take that out right off the bat. Well, guys were asking there. I got right balls deep into not doing CNC. I got a lot of comments over the weekend. What the F, yo? So many videos. I'll tell you what happened. Well, first off, took a couple years off my life, false bravado or not. So the wife goes and gets groceries, gets a treat, right? Old Grampy McNamara turning over in his grave. People pay for water, and you can eat blackberries in the middle of the winter. Okay, so daughter has a big feed of blackberries. Hear scream in the middle of the night, you're yelling, help me, somebody help me, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so bolt up right out of bed. Go into her room. There's blood every fucking where. She had vomited. And it's the sheets covered in fucking blood. So I'm freaking the fuck out. Turns out she's getting the flu. She's sick. It's blackberries. Holy. So anyway, the good news was baby doll and chickadee both right down with the flu. Meanwhile, all I needed to do was, you know, occasionally dispense some meds and some popsicles. Bob's your auntie, right? So I got to fuck around in the shop due to the healing power of booze, and possibly false bravado. In fact, I got the nod for Husband of the Year, in addition to Father of the Year, already this early, January it is, and all the while, happily dicking around in my own workshop. Fuck yeah! Fixed her good! So this just retains the spring because this is a single acting cylinder. So there it is! I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce you to your new guaranteed Getting Lucky shirt. Your results may vary. This is not a guarantee. So I'm going to give away some t-shirts, but on account of how cool this was made, Graham over at Diode Press hand carved all the printing platens. So go over to his video, comment on it that you'd like to win a t-shirt, and or like to have a friend. Of course, we don't do contests here, because that would, who knows what kind of imperial entanglements that would entail. So go ahead over to his video and comment. I got the fastener out, and this just preloads the spring or holds on the spring. Of course, this is a single acting cylinder, so it only pressurizes the one way. And then in order to get it to retract, we need something. We can't pressurize the other gallery to get it to retract. What do? We have a little spring-a-thing in there, what pulls the pistone back. Now this cylinder was made in China, so it's going to have metric fasteners, but you can tell if you're ever in question, You can tell by the head markings, even on Allen bolts, because there'll be an 8.8 or a 8. Or there'll be some numbers on there. And if you see numbers, not the letters, but just numbers, you know it's automatically metric. And you can see the sealing here. Interesting. Nice soft annealed copper O-ring. Not a ring, a washer. And that actually deforms enough, that solid copper, to seal in the shmoo. Now purists will tell you that because now we have work hardened this copper washer, we people should on you all the time. Of course we should, and you should, if it's something critical, replace this. But I don't have any, so I ain't going to replace it. We'll put it back in and you'll see it'll seal just fine. Well, the surface finish of this Princess Auto Power Fister isn't that bad. There's some shmoo in the paint. Looks like some spatter chips or something, but not too horrific. The weld is actually decent. You know, you see, like on those engine hoists, stuff, jack stands, and you look at the welds and it just looks like an old chicken shit hemorrhoid. You're supposed to get under the car like that. Ooh, scary. But this doesn't look teabag. So we're going to take out the gland. It's essentially a threaded ring with some sealing elements in it. We could use a face pin spanner or make a proper tool, but I'm just going to channel my inner millwright and chowder the fuck right out of her. Not in there very tight. That might be something if you had this rattling around in a service truck or something. That might come loose on you. It was that loose. The way you can ensure that doesn't come out is you would just tighten it up and then give this a little peen, pop, just to chowder over that thread so it wouldn't back out on you. Okay, so this is just a retention ring. There's no gland in there. No sealing elements at all. And the hydraulic fluid is not, surprisingly, is not disgusting. It seems to be quite light, maybe a VG22, ISO VG22. But that's the thing, you know, you buy the Enerpac or whatever, or the SPX Power Team, and they sell you hydraulic like jack, like it's special oil. It's blue. Yeah. So I just use ATF, automatic transmission fluid. Basically, if it's wet and oily, it's gonna work. Oh man, this is not even close to as crusty as it should be. Son of a diddly, I think these Vajeos are working. Oh, wait, no, I spoke too soon now. This is a dirty fucking trick. They put a roll pin in here, for retaining the springama thing. So once you pound that roll pin in, it's in a blind hole. There's no way to get it out. We're fucked. Just taking it apart, we fucked ourselves, because how are you going to get this? How are you going to get that to align with the hole in here in order to... Ah, yeah. That fucking sucks. Well, anyway, we'll continue on with the teardown. Show you what for. Safety squints engaged. Here comes the Jesus clip right in your eye. Yeah, no, that's not right. Going in through the outdoor. Sick! Once again for the second time. Jesus clip. Right in your eye. Oh, it's going to eat. Ah. This is not the same kind of seal as on an Enerpac. The Enerpac cylinders have a UHMW very stiff seal. This is just an off-the-shelf hydraulic seal. I'm surprised for it's 8,900 psi. It's very light duty, this seal. So this is more of a home gamer style. This would not last. We can see here it is a Ding Zing D3, and just like bearings, all bearings always have the nomenclature on them. They're jelly bean parts. They're like a lighter or like an envelope. Ubiquitous. You buy one envelope, you buy another. It doesn't matter. They're the same size. So seals, same thing. We have UN, which is nothing. 35, 46. 35 on the ID, 45 on the OD, 6 on the thickness. Isn't that convenient? If you have a seal and it's blown right out, or it's not there and you need to seal something, all you need to do is the same thing. You do the you don't measure the size of this because it's flared. You measure the size that it goes into. So you measure the ID, the OD, and the thickness you need. You call your sealing supplier, bingo bango, applauso, applauso, save the day, how did you get so smart, etc., etc. So here we have the bearing or wear ring, depending on how you call it, and a little nylon spacer. Now this would be sized exactly for the OD or ID, inside diameter of this cylinder. And then this is interesting because on the, got some schmoo on my finger, on the Enerpac, these are phosphor bronze. Of course, phosphor bronze is a perfect bearing material, low coefficient of friction, but this appears to be steel. I don't believe it is steel. It's likely cast iron or cast. It's probably got lots of carbon in it, but so much carbon that it has precipitated and forms granules because carbon is an graphite, excellent lubricator. And if we look here, here's the rod. We try and scratch it up, nary a mark on it. We see all the marks are on here. So this is quite a bit softer. I'm not 100%, but it wouldn't surprise me in the least if this were cast iron. Now the rod itself, this is where the rubber meets the road. And see, this is not CPO shafting, so chrome, polish, OD shafting. It's been ground, nicely ground, but there's no chrome on there at all, and we can see I've already got a nick in there. You want hard chrome on there so that you don't get easy nicks just from having minerals or a chunk of schmoo on there. These get used in industrial environments, so this is definitely not a real great quality to have in a professional setting, an industrial setting, but for the home shop or farmer or whatever, yeah. I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised at how good this is. We can see here, typical not give a single fuck about their machine tools. Just the drill they use to drill that out is just chowdered right up. I mean, on its last legs. In here, the counter bore is all chowdered up. If you couldn't get this copper ring to seal up, a good trick is to use some green Loctite, green bearing retention Loctite. Let it chooch before you pressurize it, and that'll seal it right up. Now we get to this. I have no... Oh, wily buggers. It just occurred to me that maybe that hole was oversized. Never mind, I take back what I said before. So, normally a roll pin, well, that's a spring pin, and that's meant to be put in a smaller hole so that it retains, but what they did is they oversized the hole so you can slide her in and out. And she's well lubricated mit der Wiener sliding, that's for sure. Nice big beefy spring here, flat. Instead of a coil or a round cross section, it's a flat cross section. And I don't know, that's kind of odd how they've got that in there. It must be threaded in. I forget how the Enerpacs are done, but they're not done like this. I'll have to take one apart for comparison. But this is a threaded insert that threads right into this spring. Just got the right pitch and the right route and everything, right to get in there. And then this is threaded metric so you can put the bolt in. And that's all. When you pump it up, it extends this, and then when you release the pressure, this squeezes back down in. Nice little touch here. They'd added a mild chamfer, for getting the seal in without runt in it. A lot of times you'll see guys will do a 45, and it's just not enough. It's still too sharp. You can actually take your fingernail and run that across the chamfer, and it'll pick up your fingernail. So you got to get in there and emery cloth that in order to assemble it without destroying it. Nice little touch. As we can see though, the devil is in the details. This sat around and got rusty before they put it together, so we can see, this is nice, we see the lathe marks. This whole tube has been machined on the outside as well. The more I look at this, the more surprising it is to me at how good, for how incredibly cheap it is. Who knew? Normally these things also give off the nasty Chinesium. No stank to her. Maybe it was because I had it in the shop acclimating for no less than 6 months. Don't judge me. Disappointingly, not nearly as crusty as it should be for purposes of making a video. But son of a diddly, 25 Kanaki Copex. I mean, in real money, that's like half a beer. How do they do it? Crappy parts. This doesn't fit with the Enerpac. It's too small. Far too small. No fit. No chroming anywhere to be seen. So no chroming on the cylinder. No chroming on the pistone. No phosphor bronze. Low pressure seals. These are just typical hydraulic seals that you'd see in a 3000 psi implement. So I think they're not using the typical burst rating and working pressure of hydraulics. It definitely would hold that for sure, but it wouldn't do it in the lifetime you'd expect from a hydraulic implement. Just because this is exactly the same seal as you see in a 3000 psi cylinder. The other thing is, there's no wiper. There's nothing to keep the dirt and the silica and the crap. I mean, these things get used and abused. Where in the nastiest fucking dick holes, dirt and schmoo and crap. So you buy one of these for your farm. You gotta keep it clean. Who keeps shit clean? Nobody keeps shit clean. So that it's not going to keep any schmoo out. It's going to fall right into there. It's going to wear your seal out. It's going to score your cylinder all to rat shit. Score the pistone. The pistone doesn't really matter, but what'll happen is you'll start to see fluid leaking out of the top, and that's because it's bypassing here, through here, and then it just comes straight out. So realistically, though, you get more than you pay for when you buy that. 25 bucks, comparable Enerpac, you'd be hundreds. Thanks for watching. Keep your dick in a vice. Check out Graham's video, please. And if you'd like to receive a t-shirt, we'll give some away. But also, if you ain't feeling too lucky and you want to get lucky, there's another way to do it. You either rely on luck or legal tender. Your choice, partner. Thanks for watching. Hey, keep your dick in a vice. Clearly the month kinda got away from me. I put out this t-shirt almost 2 weeks ago. It's only got 2 days left on the campaign, maybe even 1 day by the time I get this edited. So kinda after the flurry of activities over the holidays, and just been busier than a dog with 2 dinks. I mean, hair straight back. Look at this. Got the old cocaine pinky. Disgusting. Like, just about time for some horror red manicure, you know what I'm saying? You would be surprised at how fucking cool that actually is in some places. I was in well, I don't know about now, but probably. I was in Tianjin, China, over a decade ago. This was before the Pudong airport was even in, so we had to go. No, actually, first time I went, the Pudong airport wasn't in, so we had to go to that shitty little airport in Shanghai. And then after the Pudong had just opened, so it was only a couple of foreign carriers that were in there, and it was a beautiful airport, nobody in there. Of course, that's completely changed. So we'd go into this, you know, you'd be the Great White Hope in this beautiful airport, and then you'd have to drive into downtown Shanghai to that shitty old airport and then fly in a culvert with wings to Tianjin. And partner, if you haven't been to Tianjin on the waterfront in the winter, you have not lived. A fucking more miserable spot I have never seen. Yeah, cut the bullshit. Let's get down to the teardown, right? Long story short, guys were asking me about this golden wrench. Oh, there's this big Chinese guy. I mean, big, like Dutch farm boy of a Chinese guy. Corn-fed on Gouda and hamburgers. Big dude. He's the boss of the workmen, and you can tell he's the boss because he's got this big, long fucking thing in the middle of winter. opens up his coat. Mr. Christ, opens up his coat, takes out this little cage thing, opens it up. Out pops the most gnarly fucking cricket. It like jumps at me. I scream like a girl. Not that there's anything wrong with being a girl, but I had a bit of a high pitch to my voice. Everybody laughing to beat the band, of course, because the round-eyed Guaylo foreigner got scared of a cricket. But who the fuck carries around a pet cricket? You know, fun times. Anyway, he gave me this, and I've had it ever since. Turns out it's beryllium copper, highly toxic, but it won't spark. Of course, coal loading facilities and so forth. Anyway, pretty cool. Beryllium copper, highly toxic. Had it for a decade, ain't dead yet. Not to worry though, lads. I trust in the power of false bravado. It always works. Until it doesn't.